Chalo. In this particular recording, I'm going to explain you the entire chapter 5. No, I'm just going to tell you which topics you're going to focus more on, how to approach for this chapter 5, what are the tips, tricks to do chapter 5. But do you think I'm going to explain the entire chapter 5, 150 pages? No, because it is of no sense if I teach you. Now, listen to me thoroughly. For once, I'll explain how and what and all has to be kept in mind. If you see this chapter is all about audit of items of FS. That means they're telling each item of balance sheet and each item of P&L, write down the audit procedures. Like for sales, write down those 10 audit procedures. For purchases, write down 10 audit procedures. Now, these are P&L items. For share cap, these balance sheet items, share capital, write down 10 procedures. Reserves and surplus, 10 procedures. Borrowings, 10 procedures. Cash and bank, 10 procedures. Trade payables, 10 procedures. Now, if I tell you this chapter is pure practical chapter, why? Until unless you don't do it practically, you don't know what has to be done for a trade payables. You don't know what has to be done for a share capital. It purely requires what? General knowledge. Now I divide the entire chapter as in what kinds of various questions are asked. Just write it what I'm trying to tell. Types of questions asked from chapter 5. Types of question asked from chapter 5. Types of questions asked from chapter 5. Number one, assertion based questions. Number one, assertion based questions. Number two, law related questions. Law related questions. Third, accounts related questions. Fourth, audit procedures related questions. Fifth one, individual questions. After the word questions, put a bracket and write number 5. That means there are 5 individual questions. Okay. Now focus what I'm trying to do. These are the 5 types of questions which generally are asked in the chapter 5. What is the weightage of chapter 5? It comes minimum for 14 to 15 marks, maximum 18 marks. 18 marks rarely it will touch, but 14 marks definitely yes. Every time it touches 14 marks. Okay. Focus what I'm trying to tell you. First is the assertion based question. What is this assertion based question? Chapter 3 we have done in detail assertions. OCCCA, ACRV, OCA, OCCCA, correct or not? Literally, if you have understood the meaning of that OCCCA, ECRV, you can score 5 marks easily in any paper. I just open up this thing. What do I say? Jan 25 question paper. You will see what kind of question they have asked in Jan 25. You laugh on the particular 5 marks question they have asked. If at all you have understood that this OCCA, ECRV thoroughly, you would get 5 marks doing nothing. Literally. Take it out. Where is that suggested answers? Just a minute. Okay. You know key for PN items it is OCCCA, and one of the I'll explain one more thing. One of the procedure is called as cutoff also. What was cutoff? Relevant financial period. It is applicable for both PNL and balance sheet. But when you did it in chapter 3, cutoff was only in PNL. But cutoff is actually like a procedure which we perform for balance sheet items also. So just remember OCCA, occurrence, completeness, cutoff, accuracy is nothing but valuation, again same thing only, no, and cutoff. And ECRV existence, completeness, rights and obligations, valuation. Correct or not? You remember the meaning? Okay. See the question now. They have asked identify the assertions and explain the assertions while you are checking these particular items. You are going to do it now as a test. Taken up. These are 5 individual cases. How many? 5 individual cases. Just read this one and tell me what kind of assertion the auditor is trying to check over here. Whether it is occurrence, completeness, cutoff, accuracy, valuation, existence, completeness, rights and obligation, whatever it is. First, make sure whether it is a balance sheet item or a P&L item. If it is a P&L item, OCCCA. Balance sheet item, ECRV. Plus one more C, cutoff. Just read these 5 cases and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write the answers. Then we'll discuss. First one is difficult. If it is okay, you can do the second one. Second one, like, don't get confused. You'll get 2 answers in your mind. Sometimes you might get confused. It is okay. You write it. Even if all the 5 are wrong of your answers, I don't mind. This comes with practice. Scroll. Just a minute. Fourth one. The easiest way is remove those odd one outs. Remove the odd one out assertions which are not completely applicable. Then you decide it. Don't try to identify the direct answer from the question. First remove kya. If it is this, then definitely completeness or not there. Acha, accuracy not there. Understood kya? Then you see what are remaining. Like how confident I got 50-50. That you do. Then you decide. Understood kya? Fifth one is very simple. Fourth one is very simple. Third one is very simple. Second one is also very simple. Only first one you will find, if you use little brains, first one is also very simple. It is a PNL item. OCCCCA. Remove those which you know it is not being tested over there in point number 1. If you want to give a hint for question number 1, is it either between occurrence and accuracy? But think, you will get both answers, but think which one it is. Read the entire till end, you have to read. Done kya? Offline? All 5 marked? Don't leave anything as blank. Write whatever you know. No, you write it. Acha. Write some answer. Don't keep it as blank. Write all the answers. Don't leave any of the blank. Give me last 1 minute. Just imagine 5 marks. They're asking this question. It was a jingle alla who moment for me. But the paper was tough for January attempt. You wrote in Jan? Georgian? No. You wrote in Jan. So you would have known the answer, no? No. Kaushalya? You didn't complete the syllabus itself. I said the option you left. Fourth question. This is a simple one. Done now? Shall I discuss? Okay. Online also marked, I guess. Okay. If you remember the meaning, first I'll discuss the meaning. Occurrence for P&L means the expense should have been occurred in real. Taken as that means it must be pertaining to the entity. Fake and all don't add it. Correct? That is called as occurrence. What was completeness? Whatever is the total expense, completely has to be recorded. Or whatever invoices have been there, completely said to be recorded. Completeness, everything. Value they are not talking about. Completeness they are talking about. Then comes accuracy. The other word for accuracy which is used in chapter 5 is measurement. Either it is accuracy or measurement. The meaning is same only, accuracy or measurement. So accuracy is talking about the valuation. Whether the value whatever is there, it must be properly recorded. Completely is different. 100 invoice, 100 invoice recorded. That is completeness. 100 invoice of a value, each should be matching. That is called as accuracy. Cut off, whichever relevant financial period like you have to do it. And one was OCC, complete no occurrence, completeness, cut off. Classification. Classification where it could, which should go inside. If it is employee benefit salaries, it should go into employee benefit expenses PL. And the mark. Okay. Balance sheet existence now, it must really exist. The asset liability must exist. Completeness same, completely recorded. Rights, I told you, assets are always rights, liabilities are obligations. If there is an AC over here, if it is existing, check whether the entity has the rights over it or not. How will you check whether it is right or not? Title deeds. Title deeds is something which you're going to do. Title is the name of the owner, should be the company's name. Correct? And valuation allocation means again value, accuracy. Understood? And cutoff is again same. Now read it. Employee benefit expense, which is recorded in the PNL. PNL item, okay. Do not include the cost of any unauthorized personnel. Matlab something which is not of our entity should not be included in our entity. Think what will be the answer? Something which is not of our entity should not be recorded in our entity. Huh? Occurrence. What did you write?
Occurrence and strikers and accuracy.
Accurate. And you, I don't know occurrence and accurate. Occurrence you wrote. Occurrence you wrote. Understood the meaning. Key. If they would have stopped at something related to cost or value, no, then you would have written accuracy. You have written cost of any unauthorized person. Matlab that employees of not of our company, he's an unauthorized person, but still the employee benefit expense includes that also. So it is occurrence. Only those which have been occurred should be recorded in our entity. Understood? Then all the items of inventory pertaining to a relevant year shall be included regardless of the location. Cut off. Very simple. Is it cut off? Let me check also. No, I am not that smart. Cut off. Then third one. Sales are recorded correctly in the books based on the invoice amount. Discounts have been properly adjusted. Accuracy. Value. Accuracy लिखा है कि कुछ और लिखा है?
Occurrence, completeness, accuracy.
All three? Why three ma? They are see they are talking about value, no discounts minus. If there is 100 rupees invoice minus discount 50, that means they're talking about properly adjusted value. That means they're talking about accuracy. Instead of the word accuracy, I told you they're using the word measurements. You're going to learn in chapter 5. Then the entity owns, controls the inventory record in the financial statements. Purchase invoice should be in the name of the client. Huh? Rights and obligations. Understood? Kya? So it is. Let me check. It is. Which one it is? Fourth one, no? Rights and obligation. Fifth one, inventory has been recognized at lower of cost or NRV. Valuation and allocation. This is something which they asked for 5 marks in the examination. This is a chapter 5 question. Understood? So chapter 5, the first thing which you are supposed to focus is assertion based question. Where will you find assertion based question? Topic number 1. See, for balance sheet it is existence, completeness, cutoff, valuation, rights and obligation, and yes, if you remember something called as presentation and disclosure, it is also like an assertion only. Each item of balance sheet and each item of P&L should be properly presented and properly disclosed. So they can ask a question here regarding presentation disclosure also. Understood? Cash and bank were not separately shown. They were cumulatively shown. Which is the assertion? Presentation disclosure. Understood? Yeah. ठीक है. Similarly for income statement occurrence, completeness, cutoff, instead of accuracy they have used the word measurement. It's the same only. Measurement, that means value. Accuracy. ठीक है ना. Now if you want to practice some examples, if you see directly after reading that, directly come to this page. They have given examples for each. For occurrence they have given few examples. See, employee benefit expense has been actually occurred. They have given two examples for each of them. Just read it. You don't have to mug it at all, because exam they are not going to give it from here. You just have to understand what each point means. It is that simple. 5 marks you can score minimum 4. Easy now, you can score all the 5. Understood kya? Assertion based question, it was asked in Jan attempt also, it was asked in September attempt also. Every attempt 2 marks to 4 marks it will come. No need for any hard work. Smart work is required. Understood? Assertion based question. Then what is the second one? They have given for balance sheet item also. Huh? Similarly for balance sheet item also they have given. Okay. Simple. 4 marks value are given from chapter 5. Okay. What is the next type of question I told? Law based question. If you know your CA intercal law, you can again attend one question of your chapter 5. Securities premium account can be used for only 5 purposes. You know those 5 purposes? Preliminary expenses, writing off, issue of bonus shares, buyback of shares, writing off those redemption of preference shares, that bonus. Those 5 things are there. They ask us.
Companies do not get.
Those 5 points they ask. Law based question. Companies cannot issue shares at discount. Is it true? Yes. There's a procedure also. Correct or not? If the company issues shares at discount, it is considered to be a void. But there is one exception to it. What is that? Sweat equity shares. Company can issue sweat equity shares. They have to pass a board resolution. In that board resolution, they'll have to add an explanatory statement. In that statement, they have to write to which person, how much shares are being issued at what price. Correct or not? It's a law-based question. One question in your paper comes from law. Literally not from this book. Law. It comes from a law book. So if you remember law, it comes from this. Take care. I have not specifically marked what are those law questions. Please message me. I'll tell you what are those law-based questions in this particular chapter. So hardly there are some 4 or 5 law-based questions. Hardly. If you want to show, I'll show it to you. See, no. Share. First, now starts balance sheet item. Balance sheet item, if you see, first they're talking about now how they have explained, that audit procedures. One type of the question is what? Audit procedures related questions. You know how they are framed? For each assertion, tell audit procedures. For existence, they have given audit procedures. For completeness, they have given audit procedures. For valuation, they have given audit procedures. In some items, they have not separately given cumulatively. For existence, completeness, valuation, write down the procedures. Understood? That is the audit procedure based question, which is very difficult to remember and go. What you are supposed to do is read it once during the exam, and also just read it like a novel. Take care. Underline those keywords like tally the period and share capital with the previous year. Bas, matlab compare current year and previous year. Next, no change, obtain written confirmation. No change, obtain written confirmation. Bas, underline this much. And exam time also read that much only. That is called as the audit procedure based question, which is the most difficult one, which comes for 8 marks in your paper. 2 questions for 4 marks. Correct or not? So it is very difficult. Just do reading of the entire audit procedures. Done that type of question. What is accounts based question? Accounts based question, nothing but the disclosure parts. If you see, for every item now, there is a disclosure question here. There is a disclosure question here. This is a disclosure part. That means whenever the companies or the shares are held by the promoters, they have to separately disclose it. Am I right? In what we have to disclose? In this only they have to disclose. In exam, how they'll ask, company's shareholding was held by the promoters, and the disclosure which was given by the company in the notes to account was serial number, promoter name, number of shares, and percentage of total shares. Is the disclosure right? No. You know why? Last column they did not mention. Then you'll have to write this, draw this column entire with the headings, and tell the last column was missing. This is something from your AFRF, which you have learned in your schedule 3. Understood kya? This is your accounts based question. Any doubts kya? There are more accounts based questions. Depreciation related questions, FIFO, LIFO, VAM related questions. All those are accounts based questions. If you know basics of accounts, you can write answers. Understood what I'm doing? Account based question. Again, I'm going to mark you what are those account based questions. Then which one is pending? Individual questions. 5 individual questions are there. Take now. Please read those and go. I have a strong feeling that out of 5, 1 will be tested. What are those 5 individual questions? Come after the balance sheet items get over. After the balance sheet item gets over, no, come around somewhere around 45 maybe. Or no, not 45.
Chapter here, table mein dal.
I know, full chapter is like this one. Come after the balance sheet items, somewhere over here. Can you tell me where the balance sheet items get over? खत्म ही नहीं होता this chapter no. Come on. Here. Come to page number 5.90. Come to page number 5.90. There is one question. Details of Benami property. Direct question they'll ask. Regarding Benami, if there is a company they were holding a Benami property. You know what is Benami property? Illegal properties. Properties. It's a Hindi come English name. Benami. Nami means name. Be means without. Without any name of property is being held. Black if they have hold. Taken up. If the company has been caught having a Benami property, the auditor make sure that these things are disclosed. So this is the disclosure part. Details of that property, amount of that property, who are the ultimate beneficiaries. Ultimate beneficiaries who is enjoying the benefits. Correct or not? If property is not in the books, give a reference to the balance sheet item. If the property is not in the books, give a fact about that. Where there are proceeding against the company, some suit is going on in the company, give disclosure about that proceedings, nature of the proceedings, status of the same, company's view on the same. Just write this A, B, C, D, F, G, 5 marks they'll give it to you. Understood? Kya? So this is individual question number 1. What is individual question number 2? Relationship with struck off companies. What is relationship with struck off companies? If you know your law, once you are registered as a company, your name will be entered in the register of the companies which is maintained by registrar. Once your company is wound up, liquidated, shut down, your name will be struck off. But if the name is struck off, it is not necessary that the company will close down and shut down. They will still do a business. But if you are having any relationship after the struck off or before the struck off, separately you have to show it in your balance sheet. A balance sheet kya hai? Financial statements. Okay, you were having a relationship. Now what kind of relationship? It can be in the nature of investments, it can be the nature of debtors, it can be the nature of payables, or you were holding any shares, or you were having any other outstanding balances. Like this, you have to draw this box, write these 5 points, come off home, 5 marks given. Your company was there, your company got struck off, and my company had relationship with your company throughout the year. I'll have to give this disclosure. Okay, what kind of relationship I was having with you, with the amount also. Understood? Kya? 5 mark question will ask. Just draw just 5 marks they'll give. Then comes the even more dummiest question which was asked in September attempt. Write down the various ratios which are to be disclosed by a company in the disclosure. It is nothing but your FM ka accounting ratios ka chapter. All ratios you have written: current ratio, debt equity ratio, debt service ratio. Write these ABCDK points. Write this 3 line. What is 3 line? That if there is any change in the above ratios when compared to the previous year, and the change is more than 25%, please separately give some explanation about those changes. Literally write these ratios. No need to mark. You already know these ratios. Write these ratios. Write this 3 line. Khatam. 5 marks they are giving it. September attempt they asked here. Question number 1 compulsory they asked this. Question number 2 they asked it. 3 questions I told you. Now come after the P&L items. Somewhere around 115 maybe. Come to page number 113. You know CSR? 100% you should be knowing CSR. Corporate social. The companies which are fulfilling those criteria, they're supposed to pay money, spend money on that. And whenever they're spending money, they have to give disclosure. Amount required to be spent, amount spent, shortfall, total of previous year shortfall, reason for shortfall, nature of that spent amount, detail of related party transaction, provision if made. Write down this ABCDFGH point. 5 marks they'll give it to you. And the question is very simple. The company had to do something related to CSR. What are the various disclosures regarding CSR? Write this income. And last, a 4 mark question. Cryptocurrency nowadays, very fancy, correct or not? So if the company is dealing in cryptocurrency or that virtual currency, again, disclosure has to be given. The profit or loss which the company has suffered because of crypto, amount of currency held as at on the balance sheet date, that means total cryptocurrency as on 31st March, and deposits or advances from any person for the purpose of investing in cryptocurrency. If the company has taken money from people to invest in crypto, that also you have to disclose. 4 mark question. How many individual questions I made you mark? 5. Understood? Kya? So I told you assertion based question, very important. First you have to do that. Then directly jump on to these individual questions. Do that. Then you take, what are the other 3 I told? Law, accounts and audit. Then take accounts and law. Accounts and law. Then at last you take audit. Audit also, I'm not kidding. If you see some question on audit procedures, don't skip it. If that particular out of that question number 1 ABC, 1 AB, you know, C is that chapter 5. Don't skip it. Don't skip it. Why? Write some points and come. For example, they have told write down audit procedure for sales. Write down no. Check whether proper control is there over sales invoices. Check whether one sales invoice is not recorded twice. Please compare the value of the invoice in the tally with the invoice in hand. Do vouching, do verification. Write any of the points which comes into mind as an auditor. As an auditor, what things you are going to check in sales? right? External confirmation. Few points are very common. I'll tell you what are those common points. Take, and if you want, you can write those common points which is there for every audit procedure. One is related to foreign currency, forex, right? Foreign currency, forex, foreign exchange. That means if there are sales in foreign currency, you have to convert that now as per AS 11. AS 11, AS 11 only. AS effect of what is that? AS 11 only. AS 11. Trade payables, again you have to convert into Indian currency. Trade payables, again you have to convert into Indian currency. So forex is one of the point which is common in all. Second one, transaction with related parties. Every year, if there are any transaction, trade payables, trade receivables, sales, purchase, anything, right now, please do proper scrutiny of the transaction which have occurred between the company and the related party. Proper authorization must have been given. Understood? Third one, proper authorization for every transaction. Proper authorization. If the sales has been happened, it must be authorized by the sales manager. Purchase na purchase manager. And there are few more points I don't remember. I'll tell it to you. Okay, na? You will read it once. No, you'll get to know ki every item la you will find forex wala point, you will find related party wala point, you will find authorization wala point. And one point if you want to write controls. Controls over that particular item should be appropriate. Controls. Understood? Yeah. So these 4-5 points, no, you are fixed in every answer. Write it. If you don't write these points and come, write a proper sentence and come. Just don't write controls. Write it. The auditor must verify that appropriate controls have been established or have been implemented, designed by the management over sales. Understood the language which I wrote? Even if it is wrong, if you are getting 39 or somewhere 59, they'll give that 1 mark and they'll make you pass or give exemption. Understood? Kya? 100% kya? This is the way you're supposed to do chapter 5. First assertions, then individual questions, then accounts law, then audit. Basically, if I tell you entire chapter, apart from that law, apart from that individual questions, do RMN of the entire chapter. Do read and more. Read it twice. Automatically, you will understand what kind of answers you're supposed to write. If I take one answer and if I teach you, it is of no sense. Being very honest. Understood the entire meaning of chapter 5? Hey, understood who were asking online? Dharma Devi?
Yes, sir.
This is the way you're supposed to do chapter 5. Hema, I told
Yes,
you also.
sir.
Understood chapter 5? Clear cut? Pakka? Done kya?